So we got another rejection with Bitcoin. Could this be the next lower high? That is the major question which we absolutely have to answer, because if it is, of course, well, that means we're going to have to look out for potentially the next lower low. You can see the market rejecting. We'll get into why that is happening, what you can expect next. This is an absolutely monumental week with so much going on in the markets. Make sure you smash the like button, hit the bell notification, and subscribe to the channel. Banter Bubbles over here, of course, pulling back most of the coins. Some of the hourly, though, is attempting to bounce, so trying to find at least a little bit of a bottom. A lot of the coins are finding support at the 50 EMA on the 4-hour time frame. We'll get into that in a moment. Weekly still strong, monthly still strong for the most part. So the question is this a buy the dip opportunity, or is it time to panic? So much going on in the markets over here. You can see there was another assassination attempt, at least allegedly, on Donald Trump at his golf over here, and you can have a look at this.
This event was not any kind of return to the White House, but this event was not any kind of public schedule, so it's not clear how this alleged lone gunman knew the former president would be playing golf today, and also at what time. We heard the president was on the 5th hole on the front 9 at Trump International. How did this lone gunman know? Perhaps he followed the motorcade. Of course, when the former president travels, he travels in a motorcade. He has Secret Service protection. But that is one of the things. If this was another potential assassin, how he had this information about where former.
So that's what's currently doing the rounds. It was on the 5th hole of his golf course. Absolutely crazy stuff within the markets. Benny Johnson saying over here, they're calling an assassination attempt an incident. The Secret Service actually had to open fire to keep Trump alive. So we'll see how this story unfolds over here. Of course, in true crypto degen fashion, 627 Trump coins launched within 8 minutes of the Donald Trump shooting. You know, anything for a little bit of free liquidity over here. Labeling some of these coins, you got Invincible, Immortal, Marga, we got Golf. The Golf stays on. Just the space is absolutely crazy. But there's the Bitcoin chart over there. Bitcoin maybe being a little bit affected by this, but the technical analysis still standing strong. Your 12-hour time frame coming into a little bit of a lower high over there, so definitely something to look for. And it's just insane the way that this week is lining up, right? Because we do also have a lot of high impact economic data. We have the US FOMC data, which is going to be coming out, the statement press conference, as well as the Fed funds rate target. So we'll see what happens. And that FOMC meeting, 2 days, 11 hours and 23 minutes to go. Currently 59% probability of a double cut, 50 basis points cut, and a 41% probability, or only be 25 basis points. So it's going to be interesting indeed. The market is probably trying to go a little bit risk off into this event. These are always high volatility events, and then following that, the market will likely make its decision on where to go next with the next phase of the cycle, because that is, well, this is the most important FOMC event. We always joke the most important one until the next one, but legitimately this is the most important one. And the reason this is the most important one is because we're about to go into the election phase of the cycle, and they don't want to meddle too much, you know, with making decisions and cutting for the first time into that election phase. So this is the most important one. It will set the tone for what comes next within the market. So when they do start to cut interest rates, that, as Nate says over here, and we've spoken about this a lot, there's over $6 trillion in money market funds. The S&P 500 near all-time highs. Current annual inflation at 2.5%, employment rate 4.2%, and Fed is set to cut rates, right? It's going to be fascinating. Why? Because some of that $6 trillion could be flowing into the stock markets, because they're not going to get the same returns once the interest rates do get cut in those money market funds, right? That flows into the stock market, creates the final phase of the bull run, right, in alignment with that 18.6-year real estate cycle. Also looking at, the winner's curse phase, the final 2 years of that 18.6-year real estate cycle. And that will also flow, of course, into crypto. Some of the money will at least flow into crypto because naturally people are going to seek more risk. Currently, if you look at the year-to-date returns, well, Bitcoin up 43%, gold up 25%. Those are the top performing assets for 2024, which is very, very interesting. interesting indeed, especially when you consider that you're seeing gold breaking away from Bitcoin, right? And typically when this happens, like we saw in 2020, gold had rallied 40%, and then just soon after that, Bitcoin actually started to chase gold, rallying up 660%. Now, of course, this was a different at least monetary policy that was going on at the time that pivoted away from tightening, and the rate cuts had neared their end, and then they went into extreme easing, quantitative easing, money printing on steroids, all the stimulus checks. You guys remember that, especially if you're in first world place like Europe or the US, and that led to the market rallying up. So could we see something similar? That is the massive question. Well, we've seen the massive cup and handle formation on gold, which broke out. If you follow this over here and you look at the white chart, there you go. You had the cup over here, you came into the handle and you started to break out. And that was partly why we went for this long trade over here on gold. So currently, if you did take that trade while you're up, right, you can see gold is starting to push up higher and higher. Here's the chart, right? We looked at this throughout last week. So you got your massive cup, you have your handle, you started to break out towards the upside. Currently, we've taken 33% off the table on this trade. We're leaving the other 66% for higher prices. Remember, these are highly leveraged trades. We took this trade personally, at least I did, on Prime XBT. For any of you out there that if you ever do want to trade crypto stocks, forex pairs, commodities, any of these types of trades, oil, gold, gas, etc., all of this is listed on Prime XBT. Use the link in the description below because it claims you can claim a sign-up bonus with that, right? 20% sign-up deposit bonus on whatever you deposit, or if you want to opt for the lifelong 25% discount on trading commissions, probably in the long run, that's going to be a better approach should you continue to trade. Use the link in the description below. All right, stock market really unaffected, at least pre-market wise, in relation to this assassination attempt with Trump. Market's still looking strong over here, looking for higher prices, continuation up. If you look at the DXY, still following the rejection over here, and the breakdown looking at macro distribution. As macro distribution occurs, we of course expect prices to move up higher. So bringing up the all faithful Elliott wave chart over here, you can see, and let's just give credit where credit's due to decode for this chart over here. We're looking for some sort of support to eventually be found at the lower boundary of this rising parallel channel. So you'll see very, very similar to what I have on my chart over here. We looked at the breakdown from the range high. We looked at the loss of the midline of that parallel channel, and we're looking now for a deeper correction that may even breach the bottom of this, and that's where we see the big trending moves occur. You can go and correlate to all the previous times, right, that the DXY actually broke down, like here in, let's just grab this quickly, like over here in 2017, like here in the 2020 run, and now we're going to call this the 2024-2025 run, where we do get the breakdown on the DXY. That should bode very, very well for crypto. So let's pay attention to that. There are some key levels that need to be cleared, right? We started to reject directly off that 21 exponential moving average. So once again, doing its job to perfection, especially for anyone out there who is a conservative trader. You're just waiting for price to reclaim above that. As soon as you do that, you'll increase the chances of taking out the previous lower high, which is still currently situated at $65,050. Break and hold above that, and the risk returns back into the market. We spoke about that last week, that how quick the risk will return as soon as you start to reclaim this level. This will start to look like a major breakout from a very, very big bull flag, right? If you look at that over here, you do currently have your pull, you're leading into the flag, and breaking above 65K confirms the breakout of that, and this has target or implied targets at least moving into that $100,000 territory, and the anticipation would be this is all going to line up, right? Or the expectation will be it's all going to line up with that 18th of September rate cut decision, right? This is where the magic should happen, coming off of low volatility. You have your big cup, you have your handle forming, breaking above 65 also confirms the SR flip of the strong horizontal resistance support level that we have marked out in yellow, and that breaks you out into that $107,000 territory. Same story over here, right? Currently, yes, we are downtrending. We're currently below all the EMAs and MAs that matter on the at least total cryptocurrency market cap, but really oscillating around that 2 trillion psychological level, the $2 trillion mark, and we're waiting for breaks above high levels. So for this to break out, we need to see another $400 billion come back into the crypto market give or take 377 to be precise. That should create a new high, getting you up all the way to that $2.377 trillion level will take you above the prior lower high that occurred on the total cryptocurrency market cap, which is also in the same formation as gold, right? Big cup and handle formation with implied targets up to the $4 trillion level, which would be rapid and explosive for the rest of the crypto market, right? Crypto fear and greed index down to 39. The fear comes back very, very quickly because people's emotions are very, very high at this point within the cycle because there's a lot to play for, right? And you can see the profile that's occurring on the bottom pane of the chart over here, which refers to your fear and greed index, has shown similar things at similar time periods following the halving cycle as well as seasonally, depending on the month that you're in, right? We had October. And currently, well, we're just around that October mark. So very, very similar volume profile where you're coming back down into this region over here. There you go. I'll show it to you again. We got this region over here. Fear and greed comes down to these low regions, back into the 30 to 40 zone, reaccumulates, leading into the next move up. Same thing occurred over here in October 2020, just before the election phase. This was also just before the election phase in 2016. And you had the big up move. And now we're seeing exactly the same thing. So the thing over here is you don't want to be shaken out. This is not the time to panic, sell, and exit all of your positions, but instead, this is a time to look for major opportunities. We'll continue to beat the same drum until invalidation, right? We've explicitly stated, at least I have on this channel, on my particular show, that, yes, you have lower lows and lower highs. It creates a tricky environment because you have this expanding megaphone pattern occurring on price, but the preceding trend before that was very much strong and towards the upside, and timing-wise, we're looking at a major transition within the markets over here. So what does that mean? Well, all you have to do is pretty much sit on your hands and wait for the confirmation of the break into the higher high. We already have a potential higher low that's been created over here. And then you have all systems go, right? Aggressive traders were looking to buy near the lower boundary of this bull flag or expanding megaphone pattern that we have here, whatever pattern you want to label it. You're looking timing wise to establish your positions if you're aggressive. And what we simply stated over here is once we hit that 6-month mark, we should start to see a change in character within the market. And that's exactly what we've seen, right? The yellow line running vertically down the screen is that 6-month mark within our corrective phase. And we've seen previously, if we look at the blue line and the orange lines over here, 160 days post-halving in the previous cycles is where the market moves towards the upside very, very quickly. It starts to get a bit aggressive with its climb, right? And if you look at from cycle low to 680 to 685 days following the exact low of the cycle, which would mark you between October the 1st and the 6th of October, if you correlated it to this cycle, well, that's just looking at it from another viewpoint. That's also where you started to see aggressive movement onwards and upwards. In terms of this corrective phase, well, we've currently still been within this corrective phase for 186 bars, which is very, very significant, right? We've seen one corrective phase within this cycle that lasted 222 bars. If we followed something similar, well, that could take you into the 3rd week of October, the 22nd of October to be precise. Therefore, the next couple of weeks are prime time opportunity and could be the final chance to get your longer term positions within the market. And I actually shared with the Whale Room Discord community this morning that I did start to slowly allocate into positions. For those of you in Whale Room, of course, I'll keep you up to date on all of those trades as I deploy capital into the market. So what we've also seen, focusing on the timing factors, focusing on the seasonality and the cyclical behavior that crypto tends to follow. We've spoken about why Q4 is typically a strong quarter, but what's interesting is if you analyze it from this point as well, and you look at Q1 to 3 of the following year, following at least a bullish Q4, especially post-halving, what you typically see is continuation of that trend, right? You do tend to see continuation of that trend, which is in alignment, at least with my theory, that we have about about 12 more months left of this bull cycle. So here's your current price action on the daily time frame. The levels are still exactly the same. Theoretically, super conservative traders would consider this whole area a no trade zone until such time as we breach the downtrend over here of lower lows or at least the lower highs. We've created our first high low, which is showing that things are starting to change. We're currently situated above the yellow horizontal here, which simply is your RSI pivot level. So as long as we're above that, which you can see we tested into it, held it as support, started to push up over here, that means your RSI will continue to trend towards the upside. We warned of also the potential rejection coming from the 50 EMA, which is the red line. We actually held 2 candles above that. The third one failed. Let's see, we'll give another attempt. As soon as you start to reclaim that, that's again where the market becomes more comfortable on the daily time frame, and risk will slowly start to come back in, and then they'll be targeting the top side over here around that 65k level. The good news is that you started to cross your 9 and 18 exponential moving average towards the upside. Let's quickly turn off the 50 over there. So not to confuse you, there you go, you're starting to get the golden cross over there, and historically this has boded very, very well for what comes next. So we also want to remind you over here that in just a couple of days time, it actually all just lines up, right? It lines up to be on the 18th of September, which is where the interest rate decision is going to occur, that you will print your next bull moon, right? So we've followed the moon cycles for a couple of years now, and it's been very, very good, right? So bull moon price goes up, bear moon, a little bit of a pullback or consolidation, bull moon price goes up, bear moon price comes down, bull moon price goes up, and so the story continues to repeat with pretty high accuracy. So let's see, as price unfolds over here, I think that it's a good opportunity to start to look to allocate into some of those positions. Here's your 4-hour time frame. You can see price holding up over here at the 50 EMA. If you do start to get a push and hold back above these levels over here, that should create the cross between the 50 and the 200 on your low time frames, and then bring some newfound momentum. For now, I'm not taking the low time frame EMAs too seriously, because this is still a choppy ranging market like this, as you can see over here, and these are more specifically useful when in a trending market, right? So when you start to see the crosses just before a trending market, that's where it becomes very, very useful. So bulls will want to get price in the short term back above $62,500. That is going to be your mid-range. If they can successfully reclaim that level, then again you open up the trading opportunity to move up to $72,000. Remember, getting up to 72 means you're naturally above 65, and getting above 65 breaks you out of the bull flag on the daily and the weekly time frame, right? That also creates a high for the first time, and that's where things will start to look good. So that's your Bitcoin analysis. In terms of Bitcoin's delta, well, that's currently still positive, but if you look at the other coins over here, ETH has gone negative. We have Solana negative. We have at least here Pepe negative, WIF negative, and NEIRO also negative. So people are going risk off on some of the altcoins given the recent pullback within the market. So shorting, right? Shorting the market. We'll pay attention to this to see if that does start to shift. We still have the massive flush, right, in open interest. There's been no uptick in open interest. If you do go into the daily time frame, you can see it's flat or negative, right? So nobody wants to go long within the market on leverage right now. ETH is in a terrible state. The dominance continues to drop, dropping now to 14%, looking really, really bleak. There's your ETH BTC chart. We spoke about this. Wait for a proper reversal. Wait for the market to prove to you that it's reversing. You are caught within this wedge, but getting very, very close to what should be the end of this, right? If we continue on with this downward path and it happens, let's say today or tomorrow, well, you could lose between 6 and 8% more on the ETH BTC chart before testing that lower boundary. Here's your ETH USD chart, also looking pretty bleak, coming back into the wedge over here, and that's not a good sign, right? Your range lows are coming in all the way at 2,132. The problem is if you come into that zone for the third time and you take out these wicks, you've already tested once, twice. The third time coming below that's going to take out a lot of stop losses over here, and that's probably going to cascade Ethereum USD down even lower, which probably also breaks this down into the bottom over here, and then you can start to look for signs of a reversal, right? So If you look at this tweet over here, ETH BTC just traded on a 0.03 handle for the first time in 3.5 years, which means it's pretty much been down only for 3.5 years, coming back to April 2021 levels, 53% down since the merge in September. What stops this train, right? That is the question. What stops this train? Even some of the people who've been explicitly bearish on ETH BTC is now starting to come out. That's Benjamin Cowan, and suggesting that the most likely bottom is here between 0.03 and 0.04 for Ethereum. The reason this matters, the reason it should be important to you, is because generally speaking, Ethereum's performance against Bitcoin is a proxy for what the rest of the altcoin sector is going to do. And we know that you guys all love altcoins because that is where the highest beta plays are found. That's where the biggest gains are found when the market does go risk on and bullish, right? So this is why this is important for you to focus on. 0.03 to 0.04, and then an uptrend in 2025. That is as per Benjamin. It could bottom as early as this week or as late as December, in his opinion. So let's go back to that chart. 0.03 to 0.04. Well, currently we are on the higher end of that spectrum at 0.039. Give it 0.04 rounded up. So 0.03, well, that would take you, this would be pretty bad, right? 0.03, you know, could be that far down. So in at least in Benjamin's case, his worst case scenario would mean that it's another 23% loss against Bitcoin. You let me know in the comments, what do you think? What do you guys think? Do you think that Ethereum reverses anytime soon? Also vote. We have a poll running right now in the at least comment section. If you go to the comments, it should be pinned to the top. Click on that vote over there. I'd love to go back and see what your guys' thoughts are on the market, what you're doing right now with your current portfolios. So some of the trades that we're still in, well, one that I'm still holding over here, which is looking pretty good, is RIO, right? RIO, real world asset sector, Realio to pronounce it exact, but the ticker is RIO. We had price breaking out of the downsloping trend line over here. Also a falling wedge formation, which has massive implied targets up to $2. We said conservatively we'd be targeting about 140, which, or not 140, excuse me, $1.40, which is a 160% move. We are leveraged on this trade. At least I'm on 5x leverage long, and the fact that you're starting to flip this key level over here looks really good to me, and you're holding it as support, right? So you can see if you look left, this was previous resistance, support, leading into the big move up, and now you're starting to reclaim and hold back above this level. So I think if the market does start to turn over here and turn bullish, you know, maybe there's a little bit of a down move because crypto trades 24/7, and of course, given the Trump news, once the market starts to digest and process that, maybe we start to recover over the next couple of days, then I think this is a good one for strong continuation onwards and upwards. So that is RIO. The other ones that I've looked at is, of course, Casper. We still are in the Casper leverage long, and I just add a little bit more into spot over here for the long hold. That's a long time horizon trade that I'm looking to hold. Solana still oscillating around this low region over here, and we are about to go into the breakpoint conference, which is pretty interesting that it hasn't traded up yet. Historically, we've seen 30 to 40% moves in the previous weeks, about 4 weeks leading for the previous 4 weeks leading up into the breakpoint conference, typically leads to a 40% move on Solana. So is this an opportunity? It could be. Watch this trade over here. This is still strong against Bitcoin, right? Sol BTC still does look strong. Sui shown a lot of relative strength recently, now breaking above the mid-level of the rising parallel channel, clearly creating high highs and high lows. You'll remember we outlined this a long time ago already, saying that this is the final shakeout question mark. I guess now I can remove the question mark and probably let's put 3 exclamation marks for emphasis over there. You know how we do it on this channel. So there we go, 3 exclamation marks over there for the final shakeout. It looks to be the case over there, but more importantly, starting to flip this key horizontal over here, which is coming in at $1. We said flip and hold that, it will be significant. But with that being said, there's a lot of wicks over here, so there is some selling pressure. Wait for, a little bit of a pullback. I definitely wouldn't be chasing SUI over here. We went long on SUI ages ago, so our bags are packed, our positions are loaded. If yours are not, I'd probably just wait, right? I don't think that I would be taking that trade at this exact point in time. All right, what else do we have over here? Let's check Mantra, which has been one of the stronger coins this cycle. Still looking good. Now you've pushed above the range high level, which is at $1.45. I'd like to see the pullback into the zone. Excuse me, not 145, it's $1.03. So as price comes back into this key level over here, if you can hold this zone over here, that will look really, really good for higher prices and continuation. I think that's one to watch. ONDO, still looking a bit sad, right? Rejecting from super key levels. ONDO, not the darling child anymore, or the darling child that it used to be. Rejecting of the prime major support horizontal, rejecting of the downsloping trend line. This one is lower lows and lower highs, and it is getting punished within the market. The other one that I want to mark off over here is Rollbit, right? We have to look at Rollbit because I think Rollbit is one to watch leading into the bull. And this is kind of what I've marked off over here. You've broken this long-term downtrend. You created a high. Now we're on high-low watch, right? This becomes the zone where you want to pay attention to buy the dip. I've marked off the fib levels, essentially taking from the recent low to the most recent high. Typically in strong trending moves, price will respect the 0.382 level, which is exactly where it's caught right now. The next level of interest, if it loses that, is going to be the 50% level, which is coming in at 0.08, right? 0.08. And if it loses that level, my kind of last line that I'd be willing to start to establish a position is going to be here at 0.07. So I'll clear up, or let's actually mark it off using the yellow zone. This is kind of the area of interest. This would be the zone where I would be interested in buying the dip and scaling into the position slowly, right? Remember, you don't ape everything in one go because that's a pretty strong daily candle to the downside. So you could come a little bit lower, but if you get the bump and run scenario, that would probably be the absolute most prime situation. I would love to see something like that. Let's just grab this arrow. So if you do something like that, bump and run, right? And then you start to continue onwards and upwards from there. This is common. Google it if you want. Bump and run within trading. All right, so let me know in the comments if there's anything else you want. I do see, you got WIF, Phantom, Pendle, Super. I do think we should have a look at Phantom as well. Before we get into that, I do want to let you know there's an initiative currently running with CoinW where you can get your share of up to $50,000 or 50 million 𝗕𝗘 tokens. If you do want to participate in that, use the link in the description below because time's running out. There's only 24 days, 14 hours left to participate. You have to deposit $100 or more. For each $100 that you deposit, you're getting a 5% bonus, right? A 5% super rebate bonus over there. Use the link. That will get you into this competition or initiative where you'll get your share of those values, right? Injective, I see those. Phantom, I saw that. Let's have a look at some of those. So I'll go to Injective first because it's closest on the list. And I also genuinely want to see how is Injective doing. Am I going to be allocating anytime soon? So a little bit of a pullback. This is definitely an interesting area. Look, probably not a bad zone to bid. Just continue to gauge and monitor these high lows. You're still waiting for your first higher high, which means it is early, right? High low. And, theoretically, this can all form one part of a larger high low, even if you do come into that zone, which means you haven't yet seen any break of structure or taking out the $23 level to create your first higher high and reverse the trend. So that is Injective. What are some of the other ones that we had over there? We had Phantom. We got to go to Phantom. Phantom is the next one. How is Phantom doing? All right. Make sure you tune in as well for... Maybe I won't do it tomorrow. I'll see. But sometime this week, I'm going to do a show on a portfolio. We'll have a look at some great coins which you can hold for the rest of the cycle, right? So we've been viewing this for quite some time. The inverse head and shoulders formation on Phantom waiting to break above the neckline. It's pretty crystal clear. If you can break above 54 cents over here, you'll be breaking the neckline for the Phantom inverse head and shoulders trade. And that will immediately take you, there you go, from the bottom to the neckline, and upon the breakout you'd be looking at a move up to, there it is, exactly 83 cents. So for Phantom, The narrative is starting to pick up. That is a 68% move. More importantly, that will be getting you above this clear resistance zone over here, which will be looking good for at least flipping things in the positive, right? Render, how's Render doing? Still not looking too good. The other ones that I wanted to look at it is, there we go. Not TIA. Yes, TIA. Let's have a look quickly at TIA. And then I also want to have a look at 𝗕𝗏. Okay, TIA still looks bad. Let's look at 𝗕𝗏. These are other coins that I am personally interested in for the longer run, but let's see if the chart agrees. Okay, 𝗕𝗏 still ranging over here, range bound between 214 and on the top side, 360. All right, we can go to some of the meme coins. I see you want WIF. We got RUNE, 𝗕𝗢𝗣𝗑, Axelar. Let's go to RUNE, and then I'll go to some of the meme coin sectors. All right, Thorchain, how's this one doing? Okay, so still potentially putting in this W formation. You know, if you do start to break above $4.60, that will break you out of the W formation. And then the next target is still similar to what we looked at the last time, $7, right? So not much has changed over here. We can also quickly have a look at, in most of the time, when you guys ask for RUNE, you also ask for 𝗬𝗡𝗡. So let's see how's 𝗬𝗡𝗡 doing. Any shift or change on 𝗬𝗡𝗡? Not looking good, but probably a longer term opportunity. If 𝗬𝗡𝗡 can slowly grind down into the 17 region, it's not going to be looking too bad, right? Let's go through to the meme coin sector over here. So anything standing out? Turbo starting to put in a move, but you know, high volatility both to the up and down side on this. So just goes up 15% now, not necessarily anything to write home about. Let's look at WIF. Okay, I saw NEIRO. There's a bit of drama around NEIRO. Chart-wise, not much going on. I saw something around that they launched the Cabal NEIRO on futures, but then the fake one on spot. Something like that's just recently gone down. I read about this morning. Okay, WIF. That was the question on WIF. How's WIF doing? Okay, still consolidating, still oscillating around here. Same picture. You're coming down towards the apex of the falling wedge formation, and this is what a lot of the coins look like. So if you follow the timing trajectory, you can see over here, this will meet it at about 1 November. Most of these coins should have either broken out or broken down by the 1st of November. So we'll keep an eye on that. Okay, I see there is a question around Mini. So we can have a look at Mini. Where is Mini on our list over here? There it is. Down 17%. So how is this one doing chart-wise? Okay, we've broken, held temporarily above the 50% level, now started to lose that. I guess what you're looking at now is maybe a new trend will start to form. You're looking for high-low. Where are you looking for it? Always, my most interested point is always that 50% level. Okay, currently you're losing that. You're not losing it. You caught right at the 50% level. I know I have 2 green lines, but focus on the one closest to price. If you can start to close back above that, that will show the respect for the 50% level. And then you have a little bit of strength within that coin, which could potentially push it up a bit higher. All right. What else? What else? How long have we been live? 31 minutes. Okay, we'll take a couple more requests. HNT. Yes, I do think we should have a look at HNT, which previously was doing really well. Is it still maintaining that? That is the question. HNT down 1.2%. Holding above this key zone over here. This is going to be your mid-range at 680. Look, it's had a pretty stellar move towards the upside. Any deeper flushes that come, watch for high lows, and then that creates opportunity. But range traders will be focusing on it like this. As long as it can hold above $687 region, that opens up the chance to trade up to 1160. All right, that's it from me, guys. I'll see you all on the next one. Make sure that you jump into Whale Room if you're not already in Whale Room, and then also use the links below if you want to claim that sign-up bonus from Prime XBT to trade crypto, stocks, forex, and commodities. I'll see you all on the next one. Have a great day, and cheers for now, guys.